Midnight Drearies.
In the heart of the French Quarter in New Orleans, the Mardi Gras parade was in full swing. The streets were alive with vibrant colors, lively music, and a sea of revelers adorned in elaborate costumes and masks. The air was thick with the scent of Cajun spices, and the distant beat of drums set the rhythm for the night's festivities. Amidst the chaos, a grand float made its way through the narrow streets, towering over the cheering crowd. The float was a majestic spectacle, adorned with intricate details and sparkling with a myriad of lights. On this grand display were three imposing figures, the kings of New Orleans. Cloaked in opulent robes, their faces hidden behind masks of green, purple, and gold, they waved regally to the crowd. The costumes of the kings were a sight to behold. Each garment was a masterpiece of craftsmanship, embroidered with symbols of power and mystery. The masks they wore were crafted with such precision that they seemed to come to life, telling stories of ancient rituals and forgotten myths. As the float glided through the streets, the crowd marveled at the grandeur of the kings, excitement building as they approached. Unknown to the revelers, however, was the darkness that lurked beneath the facade of the three kings. Legends whispered through the cobblestone streets of New Orleans spoke of a sinister alliance, a trio of rulers who held sway over the city's fortunes through malevolent means. These were the corrupt kings, their true identities hidden behind the masks of benevolence. Amidst the throngs of revelers, a lone figure stood out. Mardis, a voodoo priestess of unparalleled skill and wisdom, watched the parade from the shadows. Her eyes, sharp and perceptive, saw beyond the glittering facade of the kings. She sensed the dark energy that emanated from the float, and her intuition warned her of impending doom. As the float passed by, Mardis stepped forward, her flowing robes gliding over the cobblestones. The crowd parted as if guided by an unseen force, creating a path for the voodoo priestess to approach the kings. With a sudden gust of wind, the atmosphere shifted. The cheerful revelry seemed to wane, replaced by an eerie silence as Mardis confronted the three kings. Her voice, a melodic yet commanding chant, cut through the air. Corrupt rulers of this sacred land, reveal your true selves to the eyes of the spirits. The air crackled with supernatural energy as Mardis extended her arms, invoking the power of voodoo. The crowd, unaware of the impending spectacle, watched in awe as a mystical force enveloped the float. The masks of the kings trembled, resisting the voodoo priestess's magic. But Mardis was relentless, channeling the ancient spirits to unveil the malevolence hidden beneath the regal veneer. With a burst of ethereal light, the mask shattered, revealing grotesque visages that defied the laws of nature. The three kings were no longer men, they were nightmarish entities, Lovecraftian horrors with tentacles and eyes that glowed with otherworldly malice. Gasps and screams echoed through the crowd as the revelers recoiled in horror at the true forms of their supposed rulers. The once majestic float now seemed like a vessel of doom, a conduit for dark forces that had been unleashed upon the unsuspecting city. However, the Lovecraftian monsters were not to be undone so easily. Enraged by the unveiling of their true nature, they turned their attention to Mardis. With unearthly howls, they descended upon her, their tentacles lashing out like serpents hungry for vengeance. Undeterred, the voodoo priestess stood her ground. Drawing upon the ancient knowledge passed down through generations, she summoned the spirits of protection and vengeance. Shadows danced around her, forming a protective barrier against the Lovecraftian onslaught. The battle between the forces of darkness and the voodoo priestess unfolded amidst the chaos of the Mardi Gras parade. Mombozo-Botet's incantations resonated through the night, intertwining with the eerie cries of the indescribable monsters. Bolts of mystical energy clashed with the tentacles, creating a dazzling display of light and shadow. The crowd, once captivated by the grandeur of the parade, now witnessed a supernatural spectacle that transcended the boundaries of their understanding. Mombozo-Botet's strength was waning as the horrific diabs intensified their assault. Yet, with unwavering determination, she channeled the last reserves of her voodoo magic. The spirits responded to her plea, infusing her with an otherworldly power that transcended the mortal realm. In a final, climactic surge of energy, Mombozo-Botet unleashed a wave of voodoo magic that engulfed the four kings. Their monstrous forms contorted and writhed, trapped in the ethereal grip of the ancient spirits. The crowd watched in astonishment as the once terrifying entities crumbled into nothingness, their malevolence banished from the mortal realm. Exhausted but triumphant, Mombozo-Botet surveyed the now silent streets of the French Quarter. The Mardi Gras revelry had come to an abrupt halt, replaced by a hushed awe that permeated the air. The voodoo priestess, her robe tattered but her spirit unbroken, turned and disappeared into the shadows, leaving behind a city forever changed by the revelation of its true rulers and the voodoo magic that had saved it from the grip of darkness.